Today's general reading. I have been in the thick of it, so please forgive me for my tilted energy. I feel pretty much like this image, just a little bit of kilter, trying to stay up. Managing, actually, the tools have been very helpful. This may be relevant. Room massages, meditation, daily prayer, and just a brief 5-breath sequence staring into the candle. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would be like nothing without that, without my ritual processes. I'm recording this today, the day before the last full moon of 2025. And I'm definitely feeling the drama. So, yeah, let's see what the cards have to say. Thank you for sitting through that. So I like to come and show up honestly, as honest and as vulnerable or raw as myself as possible. Okay. Okay, so these two cards, the Four of Discs and Justice, I think have been a recurring theme in readings I've done, but definitely a recurring theme in my personal life. That's also been happening very, very often, more often than not, as of late. All the cards that I pull are, for these live streams are relevant to something that I am working through, or I'm still trying to start working through. This is an energy, because of how repetitive these two cards have been. Clearly, it's something that I and all of us are still working through right now. This definitely is it. With these two cards together, though, the lack frequency, it as in the thing we're working on. These two cards together are giving me, though, that, it's difficult to embody and wear all the way right now, because I'm feeling very much in my void tunnel. But we are to expect, what is it? I'm receiving justice for lack, for the experience of lack that we may have processed in our life. Again, I'm in the void, deep in the void of this, so I'm finding it difficult to understand. Hello, Lisa. I hope you're well too. I'm finding it difficult to understand what this could mean. I wanted to be able to show up honestly to that. This is a very hard frequency to process from within and to blossom out of, especially when you're at the lowest point of processing lack, or Lisa, I am. I'm trying to process this, essentially. I'm working with my own limiting beliefs, and I'm trying to work with them to turn them into the lessons of growth that they were meant to be. I don't think that frequencies of feeling like you don't have enough, or feeling like you urgently need to look after your treasures, that the frequency of feeling immediately, of preparing to lose a good thing once it arrives. Learning how that in itself is a thing that can teach you and grow you and help you become more yourself. It's difficult. It's very difficult to to process, to work through, to integrate. But I am feeling into an oncoming of integration of this. This card also speaks of the idea of working with money, so that it turns into an energy thing and not like a thing that rules your world and becomes your God. I feel called to read the interpretation of justice. This card speaks of clarity of vision, ability to act with integrity and sense of justice, fair play, righting wrongs, balance, cutting through the dross to get to the truth within, weighing a particular issue against your own behavior to ensure you're acting from the highest principles, possibility of legal issues, check the small print. Bearing in mind that we are, I think, still in the shadow period of the Mercury retrograde. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa. Where the 2 weeks before and the 2 weeks after are essentially like the Mercury retrograde's tail to the tail and the head. So it has to like finish off. So bear in mind the possibility of legal issues, checking the small print. That feels like it shouldn't go under the radar. Yeah. The sentence that jumps out most to me here, though, is weighing a particular issue against your own behavior to ensure you are acting from the highest principles and not from a place of fear or lack, or like a limiting, a holding back because you're scared something won't work out, or because you're scared it's going to disappear before you've had enough time to enjoy it. That feels specific, though. Or something good could turn into something dangerous for you. These are the frequencies that I'm feeling into that are going to be, I want to say forcefully corrected because it is a major arcana card. And yeah, I take major arcana cards very, very seriously. We have 3 of Swords beneath the deck. Okay, many cards. Let's see. One of them was the Star, though. Aw, Temperance fell out so neatly. Hey, Piladi. It fell out so cutely, like it bumped off my arm and then placed so perfectly amongst the rest of the cards that fell out, which is so beautiful and so symbolic of the movement of our divine world, our angels, that part of life that we cannot see, but that is so involved in everything we see every day, all the time. That may be what we are all forgetting. Not really forgetting, but we're being challenged with the opposite of this. We're being challenged with the opposite of the fact that karma is real, good karma, loving karma, the love karma, the truth karma that I trust that everybody I read for tries to uphold and follow and apply. And the protection of our angelic team. It seems like we are being challenged with ideas that go against that, challenged with living experiences possibly that go against that, specifically that have to do with the idea that, with the survival frequency. Yeah, and the idea that everything you do, every decision you make every decision you make has to keep you safe. Yeah. I'm feeling a pressure on the self to make sure you always make a good decision, no mistakes. Because one mistake and you could go under. That extreme survival, though, where it's like, I have to make sure that I show up in my job a certain way and show up on time and push, because if I don't, then I could lose the job and then I won't have money and then I won't be able to survive. That stress, like, you know. Please, this feels very blunt to say, but I do feel like even I need to hear this, that none of the feelings of lack or urgency or survival or whatever the fuck are true. And really, it's all a lesson in order for you to become, okay, with the presence of this card, I'm feeling specifically into the need for you to settle your contracts. Believe it or not, we really did choose to be here. We are fulfilling things that are etched into the universal script. So the ink is like, it's like the ink and the pen and all the the transcribing, the act of transcribing, that's us as a being, as beings, as human beings. I'm remembering the intuitive channeling that I gave that spoke about how spiritual everything is about to become. This is a really spiritual read. Feels like a spiritual month that I'm doing this in December 2025, where the only way through a lot of the problems we face is surrender, truly. And to keep your eye on that divine plan or that divine sense of life. The pocket where you're almost delusional in thinking that everything will be fine and that you really can't say, I've lost my train of thought now. Everything will be fine. Oh, you can't fuck up. Yeah, you can't fuck up. Even your mistakes are written. Even your mistakes are written. Yeah. It's so scary, you know? Guys, it's so scary to trust in God. And at the time that I'm reading this, it feels like we're being overcome with this sense of like this void. You know this feeling when you are in survival mode and this frequency makes you forget that you're protected. Yes. That is to say, you're sitting in this dark space, holding on to everything you have because it's all you have. And you don't know when you're going to get more. And you don't know who's watching your back. And you don't know you can't trust anyone. And no. Yo. You saying really not to choose to be here reminds me of about how we asked to be born. Yeah. And it's a complicated idea to work with in the face of this, or in the face of the themes of samsara, of the ideas of suffering and what we're facing now in our everyday experiences, you know. It's difficult to understand then if we are meant to be born, and the whole idea of how everything truly is meant to happen. Otherwise, it would not be happening. Everything, though, even the bullshit, the suffering, the survival, the poverty, all of it, you know. This is a level of like God consciousness that is not necessary for our brains to grasp, but it is necessary for us to surrender to, because we really don't have any other choice right now. It also seems like us facing all of this lack, facing this frequency it in itself is also a matter of timing. It's just time. That's what I'm feeling into. It's just time for us to be in these fearful states and to face this, you know, integrate, process it, do the work that is written in your contract. It seems as well with the presence of the Temperance card that there are promises on the other side of this. But this goes without saying, and I'm sure we all understand now that there will be rewards to the spiritual work that we are doing and to this facing this frequency, the survival frequency, transmuting this level of fear and lack and needing to hold on to things and save like a crazy person and da-da-da. Transmuting that energy, facing it, you know, working with it, eventually coming to the other side to understanding how protected we are, how lucky we are. Practicing. And this can be crazy for some, but you're working through this layer by layer. And you can't give up once you commit to practice something like manifestation, manifesting money. If you haven't tried that already, there are so many like money magic spells that are available online right now. I would recommend first and foremost that trying any of this is at your own discretion. Please do it with the awareness and respect of the energies that are rooted in these practices, the indigenous roots. Please pay respect to what you dabble into. However, I do suggest you dabble into magic in the meantime. This is coming before me. I feel called to suggest that you work with your angels in particular. Whatever ritual you have, make sure it acknowledges the spiritual team or world that you're connected to. Even if it means you pray daily, and this sounds trivial, but pray daily, try it now for a specific amount of money. Release where it may come from, and then watch how it arrives. Release and observe. Play a little so that we can work out of this, because this really doesn't belong to us. It is time for us to process it. It is a lesson, but ultimately, this is not a true frequency. Like I'd said, it feels most important to remember, as per the interpretation of this card, that money is an energy exchange more than it is this fiat object that rules everything, you know? Exactly, Lisa. We have a full moon tomorrow. That's rumored to be a very powerful one, and that will also be aligned with a lot of like solar flares and shit. So, which I actually mentioned in the intuitive channeling in previous readings, I believe is the reason why we're so intensely processing this frequency of fear and lack, because the sun, the plasma from the sun, is coming into our bodies and kind of like pushing that shit out, bringing it up to the surface so that we can process it and release it for good and work better with our worlds to bring in money and abundance and all these experiences that that we can feel, that we imagine. It really is true that the reason you want things is because on some level, you've already tapped into the reality where that thing exists. To me, that's literally science. and doing the work of aligning further and further to face the reality where you get what you want, doing the work to get there involves facing this shit, processing and working through this shit, working through the doubt so that you no longer ever doubt when you want something that you'll get the thing. Because doubt and this frequency, shit like this, is the only thing, in my opinion, that stands in the way between you and what you want. Anything is possible. Anything. You have the star beneath the deck, which is part of the bunch of cards that fell out when I was shuffling and had to reshuffle because there were too many cards. So this card feels important. And I acknowledge this with gratitude because it's a beautiful card to receive against this kind of uncertainty, victimhood, disempowerment. Yeah, this feels like you're in a hole. This card and its emphasis feels like you're in the sky. You know, you're amongst the stars, the star. Also implies a sense of enlightenment and divine conscious connection with the divine. Again, that I believe is what we are working to integrate through this frequency. That is to say that we should surrender to it. I don't know. Surrender to it in the sense that you should like process it, and I don't know, man. It's a complicated thing. This is such a complicated frequency as well to deal with when you come from a bloodline that's been oppressed. This, I think, is part of the weapon that was used against indigenous cultures and kinds of peoples who are very naturally connected to like magic through their way of being. This was the tool to, I think, suppress that magic within people, have them sell their souls and sacrifice themselves, their vision for money. I mean, we're all technically doing it right now. It's pretty deep, but it's all coming to a close, thankfully. Well, for the collective that tunes into my work, and obviously for many other people who are dedicated to this journey, who believe it, who feel a sense of it, and have worked with their angels. I'm also getting the sense to mention how surprising it could be for you to understand exactly how much you work with your angels without realizing. Like, they're always listening. They're always present. And I believe that everybody has a ethereal family or like an angelic team around them all the time, whether they believe it or not. I really don't think that the intensities of everything, nature, the existence of nature to me proves the otherness of life. Like, it can't just be us. There's no way. Everything our hearts desire also desires us. Exactly. Absolutely. Let me pull one more card and then call it. Temperance is a very like, there's really nothing you can do right now. There's nothing more that you can do. Genuinely. This has been the theme, a repeated theme, in my opinion, for a while now, while we've been in the presence of this void. Since about early November 2025, I think we've been in this. There's nothing else for you to do but be present, wait out your process, trust in it, face yourself, be honest with yourself. So that I could have stopped there, but I did feel like shuffling more, and I got the King of Swords. So I'm getting that it's a mind game. It becomes a mind game from here on out, from the time you're reading this, where you just need to decide and follow through with it. Decide that everything's going to work out, and then follow through with that thought and behave and do everything as if things are going to work out. Become the person that you want to be right now. I don't know. Consider repeatedly who you would be if you had all the money in the world. How would you behave? How would you see the world? How would you process? How would you spend your free time? What kind of food would you buy? What kind of meals would you eat? Because those things change you. Those things, or rather, those things. Money and the sense of survival rules us to that level, to that degree, where it changes the food choices that we make, the things we do on a day-to-day, our interests. It affects our interests. It's pretty twisted, and it doesn't have to be if you're somebody connected to the spirit, or if you work with nature or whatever, the material world wouldn't matter much, but it does. Unfortunately, that is part of the deal. It's part of the contract. So consider all of that. I feel called to personalize it, but I actually can't find an example. So I'll actually leave that. I think I just wanted to make it personal for the sake of connection. But I'm sure, I trust that by now we all understand what this looks like within us, how we face it, how it comes out in our behavior and things we think and things we do. But that's why I suggested to think about it repeatedly, like over and over, contemplate it, and then decide, go forth, do the thing. 5 of discs is beneath the deck, and these two, I think, with the 4 of discs and the 5 of discs, I'm receiving the possibility of contemplating changing career paths, or somebody who's actually made the decision to do so and is kind of stuck in a really squeezy, tight position. yeah, you made the decision. I'm feeling into someone having made the decision to follow their their sixth sense that suggested that it's time for a change. But it's put you in this really stressful survival frequency where that's it. That's all. Yeah. It just puts you in a stress. Directly, it's through your thoughts. It's through the way that you think that this work will start to change. With the presence of the swords, the air, the quickness, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, possibly Sag. Those are just signs to mention. I don't know why I mention them, actually. I just want to sit more with what I've got here before moving on and closing the reading. Moving on from the moment. Yeah. I'm really repeating affirmations. Yes. I'm getting, maybe you might be surprised by how well that works. Falling asleep to those YouTube affirmations or subliminals. I've been suggesting those often, and I've been using those myself, actually. I've started using them. Interesting. A little bit creepy, I won't lie. The subliminal experience is a little bit creepy. But, amen. I'm still alive. I'm here. And it has been a pretty interesting experience. So I'll see. Gratitude list, writing them down and reading them out. Specifically, and reading them out feels very useful. Working with water. I feel like I've repeated that enough times now. Yeah, I think that's actually all I have. I wanted to try get into 3D scenarios that might come out, but honestly, it's feeling like it won't matter. It won't matter. Just try your best to read your process. Follow your process. Wait your process out. I feel called to read the interpretation of this, actually. And then I close off. Mm-hmm. Oh, let me finish Zelda, maybe. Sorry.
I'm still hungry.
Okay. Balancing energies in yourself and your life. Replenishment of the conscious through creative interaction with the unconscious. Openings, a sense of connection, a new sense of connection. An angelic helper manifested in the outer world. Awareness of when action or inaction is necessary. Patience. Silence. I am feeling called to highlight openings, a new sense of connection. And creative interaction with the unconscious. With the presence of the star as well, like I said, this feels to be a very spiritual time in your life whenever it is that you're watching this. So please acknowledge the spirit, tap into that, and do the work to connect specifically the spirit and the mind. So try to think divine thoughts. I don't know if that is something that... I don't know how to actually say anything outside of that. Think divine thoughts. Or now I'm thinking about I think it is the Muslim process of like praying 5 times a day, and thinking of prayer as like a cleansing of your energetic body and of your mind. That also may be helpful. Praying more often in a day, dedicating times in the day for prayer. Something spiritual has got to go down right now, because this feels like a very 3D, lower level, almost devil type energy that needs to be transmuted more than anything, not really suffered through, Yeah, creative arts, I see your comments. Please reach out to me. This isn't one of those personal readings. And I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for being present in the reading, and being present in life in general. Please forgive me for my brain fog, me being all over the place. This is kind of normally how I am during full moons, so it's real. My consistency may also take a bit of a hit because this full moon really does feel like it's trying to prove a point. And like I said, energetically, things are going down. I will see you in the next reading. Until then, I send all of my love. Please do everything you can to be grounded. These are very, very serious times we're in. But we've got this, and it's really only up from here. You'll see.